You're selling them on money first, and you're keeping them because of what you're offering them. Because anybody can offer money. Let's be real. If you offer them respect, money, and you teach them stuff, you keep them longer. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Advanced Security. Today we're going to talk about how to retain and train your security guards. Security guards, especially at a small company, if you're the guard or you're the one trying to hire somebody, you have to understand that most people are just mercenaries. Most of us are mercenaries, and that's okay, and you have to understand that. You're not gonna get real killers, real badass guys into your company that you can hire that are just believers of the brand, believers of security, believers of what they can do, believers of what you're offering. Because many times we get into companies and we get played around with. This happens to every guard. This happens to every person in a relationship.
You're dating this fly honey, and she's, the beginning, she's cooking, she's cleaning, she's taking you out, she's doing everything perfect. Or it's a guy. If you're a female watching this, or you introduce whatever it is, right? And they're doing everything right, opening doors, you feel safe, whatever. And then 3 months in, the honeymoon phase is over, and then boom.
So, how do you notice, and how do you make use of this knowledge? It's very important to understand that, right? And to ask yourself that question. And it's important that you also realize there's a limitation to what you can do and to what other people can do as well. As far as when it comes to hiring practices and it comes to hiring really good guards. First, you have to understand there's a law of averages of how many good, competent security guards out there, and you have to rank them in your own head, right? You got the warm bodies. You have high risk, high reward. They're high risk because you don't know if they're gonna show up on time, if they're gonna come up, show up to work with their uniform properly, or if they have a bad attitude. That's why they're high risk. High reward because if they're just a warm body, you probably pay them very little to nothing, and you're charging your client your regular $35-$45 an hour, whatever it is that you are doing for your state, for your services, right? So high risk, high reward. These people, if I were to give them a grade, I will give them the rank D+. They're not F because they're failing, because you know what you're getting yourself into. So by me giving you the example, I want you to understand that you first have to be able to spot who are you talking to, who are you hiring, who you working with, or who's working for you. And then a level above that is your good guards. Your good guards are the ones that are pretty much content. They're professional enough that you don't fire them. They never get in trouble. They don't aspire too much either. These good guards, they have their uniform on. They say yes sir, no ma'am, thank you. They're respectful. They follow the SOP as best as possible. They have a certain level of common sense, certain level of security knowledge, and they get the job done. Again, they're not ambitious. These people are competent. That makes the average. That's like the average guards you tend to find. And these guards, they're hard sometimes to make and hard to recruit, just because they have enough mental capacity to be like, look, I'm not getting treated well. This schedule's not working with me. You promised X, and now you're giving me Z. I gotta go. They're willing to leave. They're willing to leave. These people, they'll work with you. Unlike the warm bodies, warm bodies work for themselves. Now, these guys, I give them a C plus, depending on, their level of experience. They're competent guards. These are the guards that you want to have. You can't have all just killer guards. They all can't be top alpha guards. It's impossible. You can't have a bunch of team leaders in one single team. And who's going to lead the team? You know what I mean? On top of that, you got the top guards. The top guards, they're the ones that hold people accountable. They know everything about the post. They take their job very seriously. They have ambitions to probably be a supervisor, or maybe lead, or maybe they're the supervisor of a post. They have ambition in the sense that, they see themselves with their own security company. They see themselves going from unarmed to armed, or to executive protection, or to going into some federal security work. These guys have a plan. Now, these guys are very rare. They're very rare. They're like maybe 20 to 10% of the security force. You know, that's the way I see it. You know, this is all from my own observation, right? If I work with 100 guards, I only know about like 40 that are good, and then like 10 that are like, I want to go into law enforcement or FBI, or I want to own my own company. You know, like this is my own personal experience, right? And when you're recruiting these people, you need to identify that. Who are they? And then also for where do you want them? What post are they going to be working at? So going back to the question, how do you train and retain a guard? Well, number one is recognize who you're working with, who's working with you, what they're about. You know, you ask the right questions during the interview. What are the person's hobby? What do they do outside of security? How they got into security? You know, do they have any goals for the future? Where do they see themselves in 5-10 years? You know, stuff like that. You ask those questions so you get a better idea of who they are outside of security. And these are the type of questions that are kind of off guard a little bit, because many times when people go on an interview, they say yes to everything. Like, yeah, I'll do overtime all the time, man. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't have a life, man. I'd rather die security, you know. Of course, I'll do that job standing 46 hours a week on concrete for $10.50 an hour. Yeah, of course I'll do it, no problem. And they do that for a couple of days, because they just needed a job for a couple of days and then disappear on you, and then you get in trouble with your client, you know, and then you're covering the post if you're the HR or you're the owner and stuff like that. So a big part of this video was just that part. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. The basics is what you have to master in small business. The basics is what you have to master when you're building a team, right? So now you know who you're working with. Now you have to build a curriculum. I repeat, a curriculum or syllabus in which you identify things that you need for every guard to know. Now, what can be these things that they need to know? Basic stuff like, I remember one of the things I learned, and this was from a retired NYPD who I worked with security once, protecting jewelry, like millions in jewelry, and it was, if you're on time, you're late, and you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. And another thing he told me, a good guard is never sleepy, hungry, or tired. He brought that from policing to security, and that stuck with me. I'm like, you know what, man, that makes sense. You know, and because you don't want somebody who's going to the bathroom, always hungry, eating, and they got food on their uniform. You're like, what's going on, my guy? So oh man, I haven't made one of these videos in a while. So you want to create a curriculum that helps you build up their professionalism, their ethics, their integrity, like, or, you know, it's better off that they already had that in the beginning. The next thing is you want to reinforce those things, that professionalism in them. And these are things you can use in every post in general. So it's like a universal curriculum. And then you might want to go to specific stuff. I don't know, if you have different type of sites. Let's say you do private venues, and then you do hotel security, concierge stuff, or you do mall security. The curriculum there changed a little bit. So I think one of the things you also want to work on is having a specific niche within security. So you have something to focus on. Like this channel for the most part is about security and things related around security, though I'll throw martial arts stuff and fitness things there just because I like martial arts. And you have to learn, you have to know combatives, and you have to know some type of self-defense, even if it's firearms, even if it's boxing, whatever it is. You gotta know at least 1 or 2 things to defend yourself with in the street, because, you know, 9 times out of 10, every post I ever worked in, I was by myself. And that's the story of every guard, right? Unless I'm protecting jewelry, and then at least there you tend to have like 1 or 2 people. You tend to have emergency action plans and stuff like that. So know who you're working with, know who's on your team, right? Then build general curriculum that just helps reinforce the professionalism of security. Then work on site-specific things. And this is all part of your curriculum, right? The last 2 things I said. On the fourth point is you want to sell the dream of security being a career path. How do you do that? You take a warm level security guard and tell them, when you become a good guard with a company that trusts you, you can make X. You know, entry-level position guards, you know, with these type of sites make 15 an hour. You're sitting down, there's not much to do, not many people, not much foot traffic, not much danger, right? So this pays 15 is a chilling job. However, if you want to do more, you will get more. And is the law of equivalent in exchange, right? Like, you know, you do more, you get more. That just makes sense, right? And then you go to this type of site that we have contracts for. Let's say you do Renaissance on the summertime. Like these sites, you're standing all day, you're under the sun. It's a little uncomfortable, but you could go from 15 to 22 an hour. And you get all the overtime you want because we're doing the Renaissance Fair, and that goes on for 12 weeks. This is literally a contract, conversation I had with a security company like 2-3 months ago. I was trying to go for an armed guard position, and then stuff happens in life, right? And they told me, like, you know, when we have the Renaissance Fair, we call up a bunch of people and we tell them all the overtime you want. And if you sell them that, you tell them like, hey, most of our contracts pay $15 an hour, so you might just make $32,000 a year. However, if you take advantage of this summer contracts we normally get, or these venues, like let's say you work for a DJ or whatever, or these nightclubs, because things starts really popping on the summer, you know, outdoors and stuff like that with DJs, you could make $20,000 more if you're willing to do that. And then you sell them on the dream of like money. In the beginning, they just think about the money. And during that time that you're explaining these things to them, you instill them the curriculum. So you're retaining them, and you're training them at the same time. You train them and they're getting value, not just mental value, but like real value skills and knowledge they can practice and learn from. You as a supervisor, manager, or your company is offering them value in security management. You're selling them on money first, and you're keeping them because of what you're offering them. Because anybody can offer money. Let's be real. If you offer them respect, money, and you teach them stuff, you keep them longer. And then you sell them on the dream. I'm like, you know what, man? I like to promote security to leads or supervisor or this, and these people, you know, this is what attracts, what lets them know they're ready for this position when they do X, Y, and Z. I have a feeling you could be one of these people. I only tell this to every 2 to 3 guards, you know, out of 50 guards, you know, I only tell this to 2 to 3 guards. I only say this to only 2 or 3 guards out of every 50 guards that I hire, right? And it's because not everybody has potential, not everybody's in the right moment, living in the right time in life, where they could do a lot of overtime, where they have their mindset of learning, they have a game plan. But you are different. I can spot it in your performance. You know, you started off, let's say, as a warm guard, and now you're a good guard. You like this post. I'm getting reports from the client saying, hey man, I like John, or I like Cynthia, or whatever it is. You know, they always on time. It was a little rough the first 2 months. You know, I was iffy about them, but you told me to give them a shot, and they're doing a great job. I just want to say I appreciate them. The client sends you that. You show that email to your guard. That boosts up their morale. Maybe they start thinking about money and be like, look, I could give you a raise in 2-3 months. But in the meantime, you need to check off these boxes. You need to do this training. You need to do this course. You need to do these 5-minute calls with me once a week where I'm going to train you, or 15-minute Zoom meetings where I'm going to train the staff, you know, some general stuff. You're going to get a little quiz for, you know, like 5-10 questions, whatever it is. And this motivates them. The money brings them in. Their curriculum will keep them entertained and learning. And then when you sell them on security, they'll keep them for much longer. Hopefully this all makes sense. You know, guys, take care. So love you. If you found value in this video, press like. If you have any questions about how to manage people, how to create a team, how to train people and combatives, you know, ask me a question down below. If it's a good question, if something I have knowledge within, I will make a video out of it. For those new in the channel, thank you for subscribing. You know, I'm a little bit iffy right now with the content, and it's just because I'm doing some remodeling, and it's a lot of work. Anyways, take care of yourself, get some real training, wear some real PPE, and ciao. Lo quiero mucho.